But it's starting soon.
And here we are. Welcome everybody to Table Talk at Tobacco Road. Today, I'm super excited about the podcast because I have with me HD Bill.
Thank you for having me, Mark.
HD Bill is our top salesperson at Tobacco Road. And when I started these podcasts, the whole idea was to interact with our customers during the pandemic so that they could get to know our staff a little bit better, and so that we could talk about some things that might be interesting that maybe they didn't get to experience, or some behind the scenes stuff having to do with each staff member. And this one's going to be fun.
I got a lot of stuff.
Bill has a lot of stuff. I've been knowing Bill for a really long time, and I couldn't wait to do this podcast, to be honest with you, because we've been through a lot of stuff together.
We've been through a lot.
Yeah.
1999.
So
you were my boss when we sold cars when I was Corvette Bill.
And Havana Bill. You're still Havana Bill.
Still Havana Bill.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
So before we get cracking, though, I want to make sure that I thank our sponsor, the Geico local office, for sponsoring these podcasts. We do sell Geico insurance at the dealership. Bill gets a lot of gift cards from selling a lot of insurance, so they really do like him too.
I really like Geico.
But good insurance company, and they've been a good sponsor and a proud sponsor.
And
of
their
ours
rates
for a long
are
time.
Always cheaper than almost anybody else, 9 out of 10 times. If you shop them, our local agent there, if you call the local office there, 9 out of 10 times, and they beat everybody, Progressive, USA, everybody, 9 out of 10 times. Give them a call.
Yep. So we can help you with that too when you come to the store to buy a bike, or you just want to change insurance. So I was about to hit the table.
Don't.
That's a no-no.
Okay, so I have to say that Bill is probably the most eccentric guy that I know. And he has been this way since the beginning. Now, he is known for his pants. I know that sounds crazy, but Bill wears some crazy pants.
People always remember me.
They always remember
remember me. They may not remember my name, but they remember me.
And that started in the car business.
It did.
But tonight, because you can't see our pants, Bill's going to show his shirt. And before you show the shirt, show the shirt first.
I was the Tiger King before the Tiger King.
Yeah. Oh, you can't see it. Hold on.
I got it. Hold on.
We need a flashlight.
I got it. Show it? Here. Mark, here.
Okay. All right. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a tiger in velour.
It is in velour.
On Bill's shirt.
And see-through.
And it's see-through. Okay, again, he's my most eccentric staff member at the dealership. And the shirt is velour and see-through. Yes.
Charo wants to say hello to everybody.
We have a special guest.
Yes, we have a special guest. Charo, say hi.
Charo spends a lot of time at the dealership. We don't even know that a lot of times that the puppy is there.
Yep.
So, Bill.
Yes.
I'm not going to be outdone by you today.
Really?
I wore my own Bill Norwood shirt, and I'm going to unveil it today for the podcast.
Woo! Look at that.
Wow.
I just want you to wear it sometime other than here in public.
No.
I dare you.
No.
I dare you.
No,
we go out.
no,
I'll buy.
no,
you wear it
no,
in
no.
public with me.
This shirt is good in 2 places. Here and at the pool. That's it. That's the only places that I'm going to wear this shirt.
Nice.
So, yeah. So, as we mentioned, Bill is the original Tiger King. I know Joe Exotic has a lot of things going on right now. He's trying to raise money for his legal fees. But I'm going to show you a picture that we dug up out of the archives
Right.
of the original Tiger King, because he works right here at Tobacco Road. Let's show that. There he is right there. That is the original Tiger King, Bill Norwood.
And that was a Joe Exotic tiger back then. $20 a bottle to feed the baby tiger.
$20 a bottle.
So
he was charging $20 a bottle.
$20 a bottle, and you see that Lexi's holding it. She was only 3 years old, and they have no attention span. And there was this big line, and the tiger has to take little naps. And I told her that, did you want to go ride the camels, or do you want to walk around? Or you can be first in line, but you have to wait. But you have to wait 45 minutes. And she looked at me and she goes, Daddy, I'll wait.
Speak up. He can't. Oh, he can't. No, he can't hear us over those shirts. He's making a joke.
My 3-year-old daughter waited 45 minutes in line to be the first one to have the baby tiger at 3 years old.
And you paid $20
for that bottle. That's nothing compared to the camel ride.
Listen. Here's what I got out of that conversation. There was camels or something.
Yep, she also rode the camels. Yep, she rode the camels that day too. Yeah, there was all sorts of stuff. Cost me all sorts of money.
That's a total Bill Norwood story because it goes from being tigers and the Tiger King to there's camels.
I couldn't find pictures of the camels, but she rode those too.
Well, only Bill would actually have been to and held the tiger that was on the Netflix show during the pandemic.
Yep. That was true. That was cool.
Oh my God, we're just getting started.
We're just getting started.
Well, so like he said, we go back to 1999.
End of 99.
Yeah, you watched my my daughter grow
our
up.
Daughters,
actually.
both our daughters grew up together. Yeah.
That's crazy. We're getting so old.
Lexi just turned 16.
Oh my God, Mia's 20.
I know. I see her here all the time.
Whew. Speaking of, I have a question to ask you.
Okay.
So when Mia was working here, she used to park in the employee parking lot. And she would go past your car. And one day she came in my office and said, Dad, why does Bill have a samurai sword mounted in the back seat of his car? I want to know why you have a samurai sword in the back seat of your car.
Well, I wasn't allowed to carry guns for a while. I had a little span where I was barred, and I used to be a lot more angry. And when I will not back down from a fight. So you remember Tracy, my second wife. So I'll just tell you. So this was not just a samurai sword. It was a double samurai sword. It had a small, short tanto blade, and then it had the longer blade in it. And something happened in Anger, and some country folk flicked me off, but there was two of them. And I started mouthing off to them. They chased me. We went to a parking lot. We start arguing. I reach back in the thing. They get out of their truck. There's two of them, one of me, and then I have my wife in the car. She's like 21 at the time. She's young.
This was a long time ago.
Yeah. I take both swords out of it. I unsheath both of them. And I looked at them. I go, you may beat the shit out of me, but one of you is going to die. Who's it going to be? They both looked at me and just got back in the truck and drive away. The only problem is I was not expecting Tracy's reaction because she was in total panic. Like, this was not normal in her world. This is normal in the Bill Norwood world. But in her world, she was white as a ghost, and I had to take her home.
So, Mia, if you're watching, that's why Bill carries samurai swords in his car.
But I'm much better now temper-wise in the meditation, and I haven't had an outbreak in like 4 years.
Now, here's my question. If you had had those samurai swords at the zoo, that could have been a problem.
No, I wouldn't have killed the animal with that. I would have shot it. I would have shot it. Of course, that would have been messy. I would have just shot it if that bug was there.
Oh, my God. We're just getting started.
We are. We are.
Well, so when I first met you, 99, 2000, you kind of got me hooked on something that you've been helping people get for a long, long time. And
Long time.
And that's cigars.
Yes.
And you're definitely
High-end
a cigar.
cigars.
You're a cigar connoisseur.
I am. I do like
Now,
a good cigar.
Back in 99, I didn't know what a good cigar was yet. Because it's kind of like wine, right? You kind of have
You
to.
don't know till you try it.
Yeah. And so Bill got the good stuff. So Bill's came in a FedEx package straight from Miami. They were from Cuba. It just so happens that we have some.
We have some here.
Fresh off the shipment. And you can see the Cuban tax stamp right here. You can see that they are from Cuba. You can see when they were rolled. February. I can't read on my glasses on. February
22nd, I think.
Yeah. So February, end of February.
And they have the warning sticker that smoking is bad for you. Right there. They have a warning sticker.
So,
just like cigarettes.
So and I used to buy these from him. I still do, by the box, because one of my favorite things to do, it's pretty relaxing actually, is there's nothing like the smell of one of these boxes when you first open it. And you take this very serious. So these stay in the humidor. I mean, these are very well cared for.
Yeah.
I've never been to your house, but you probably have a nice humidor.
Couple of them.
So, so what I like to do is open them up. And you open up the cigar box, and that first whiff, we're doing it together.
All right.
We're gonna smoke a cigar tonight.
That's right.
We haven't done it in a long time.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. So we're gonna get that box open. Oh yeah. So that's the best. You only get that once. You only get it once.
Right when you open it up.
Open the box.
Right
That's
when
it.
you open it up.
And you got to buy the whole box to get it. So we got some H. Upmans here. Oh man, these are packaged nice. Wow, look at this.
Yeah, you haven't gotten the whole box.
No,
before.
I haven't. I haven't been able to afford the whole box. Havana Bill. These are pricey. All right, here's one for you. I'll give you one back since I bought it from you.
I'll give you plenty of freebies.
You do.
I give you plenty of freebies.
No arguments. I will
freebies.
not argue the freebies ever. I will not argue. I will not argue.
This whole show's going wrong.
Anyway, that's how we met.
But
And
I get plenty of deals too.
Yes.
So it all works out.
no, don't tell people that.
I
Bill.
know,
There's
I
other
know.
salesmen watching.
I don't care.
Oh boy. So
it's my world, and it's my dealership, and they live in it.
Because you are the
King.
the Tiger King.
Good to be king.
No shit. Bad for you. Okay. So I'm going to keep this rolling in true Bill form, but we're going to change direction a little bit because this is a true Bill cutter.
And I don't remember giving it to you.
You
but
gave it to me.
that's
It's very opulent. What's that saying? 10 minutes. I missed it. What's the question? We're only 10 minutes in and the wheels have already come off. They've already come off. I knew that was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen on this podcast. I have so many notes and we haven't even started.
And you worried about filling up an hour.
I was worried about filling an hour and a half. I guess that's not going to be a problem. So this is a very opulent, I use the word opulent, cutter,
Opulent.
like most things in Bill's life. But we're not going to use it because I got one from my friend Garland.
Oh, this is nice.
For my birthday
Which I don't
last
have.
year. This is nice.
That is nice.
So it opens up nicely here. It has the ashtray in it. And the reason why I think this is very Bill is because it has a guillotine to cut the cigar.
Right there.
Right there.
Higher.
Right there. See?
There you go.
So
Right
this
there.
is very Bill. You know, a nice punch would be fine. But
Yeah,
no,
you gotta
we
have a good guillotine.
We gotta have a good. You gotta have
Gotta
a good
have a
guillotine. So
guillotine.
here you go. I'll let you go first.
All right,
But-
sit on that.
So one of the ways that Bill used to make a lot of sales is he would entice people to buy these Cuban cigars, especially when we were in the car business together. And literally it was, the this is a Bill Norwood lighter. It's not just a small. This is a freaking. I think we could weld with this if we tried.
I think we could. And in other days, it was for other things.
Oh boy, I'm not gonna ask. That's not in my notes.
That's not in your
notes.
notes.
Not in my notes.
That's not in your notes.
No.
All right.
But so he used to so he would say customers, hey, you might get the same deal, you might be able to find the same car, you might be able to find the same color, but nobody can sell you Cuban cigars.
That was mainly just for Corvette buyers.
Yes.
That was only Corvette buyers that worked for it. Did not work on Cavaliers.
One year you were what number were you in the country?
My second year in the business, I was 63rd in Corvette sales. My second year in, and
of sales, period.
And for Corvettes, no, it's the third year. The second year, I ranked 651 out of 49,000 people for General Motors. My second year selling cars.
Yeah.
For all the General Motors.
Yeah.
Light up.
Let's do it. Been a long time. This is great. Now, if you notice, we have a new studio. We moved it because we can't smoke in the showroom. I needed to go somewhere. His laugh is epic. I needed to go somewhere so that we could air it out after we're finished. So
right,
we're in an undisclosed location right now. But look at our set. Look at our set. And on this set, we actually have a motorcycle. It's kind of hard to see, but
it's not just any motorcycle.
No, this motorcycle has a story. And while I light my cigar, you're going to tell this story because it's typical Bill Norwood.
Well, the story behind the motorcycle is that's an XG 500. Harley-Davidson did a competition between all the dealerships in the United States to customize one. And that was our XG 500 that we did, and we placed third in the nation. So we came out third out of all the Harley dealerships that did them. Then we sold it to somebody, and then he donated it to a cause, and then somehow it turned up at a raffle. It was being raffled for charity or something. And one of the salespeople, Troy, came to me and goes, "Hey, Bill, there's not many tickets in this thing." So I bought one ticket, one $20 ticket. And I forgot about it, and I went home. And it was Sunday the next day, and they called me up at 7:30, and they're like, "Is Mr. Norwood?" I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "You won the bike." I was like, "Bullshit." I didn't believe them. And they're like, "No, you really won. Your number got pulled." And I won the bike for $20.
You won the bike. It was a $10,000 bike.
More than that, you were trying to get 20.
Well,
you got 20 in it.
The second time around, it was 10,000.
Yeah, second time it was 10. Yeah.
So we sold the bike several times.
Mm-hmm.
But so you, in full Bill Norwood fashion, win the bike with $20.
One ticket, just one ticket. But I win lots of things a lot of times. I won Simone tickets to Hamilton in a drawing.
Just recently?
Last year, the second night.
How did you get? Hold on, another story.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
how did you get the tickets when you came to me in the showroom and you said, "Hey, Mark, let's go see Aladdin"?
Oh, I didn't have tickets for that.
Oh, that was just a hookup.
That was just a hookup.
Oh.
One of the people that I sold that I sold a Sportster to was in charge of the D-Pack. And I thought I was just getting tickets. And then he called me up. He goes, how many people do you have coming? I'm like, how many can I bring? and he's like,
consummate salesman.
He's like, well, I'm thinking I'm going to upgrade you. He goes, you can bring up to 6. And I was like, cool. And then when we showed up, he gave us our own booth. We had the Lincoln booth. We had the balcony booth to ourselves. It was awesome. And then we had the VIP. We had the VIP room and everything at the Lexus.
We have the picture.
Yeah.
Okay, so there we are at Aladdin. That's Traver Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be on a podcast soon. And that's us at Aladdin. Now, I want you guys to focus on the shirt. I want to know how. Oh yeah, that's right. You had the genie bottle in your mouth. Oh my God. That dude, your hookup. That guy, your hookup. He was like, what have I done?
Yeah.
I want to know how many Muppets died to make that shirt, because that thing is made out of a Muppet. Look at that thing.
So
that is awesome.
Yeah, that's another furry shirt of mine. Special shirts of mine. Yes.
What kind of fur?
I don't know. Furry and string.
It's furry fur.
What? You have to get them dry cleaned.
I always wondered.
I actually have my own steamer, so I steam my own stuff because dry cleaning got too expensive. so
Folks,
I have my
Bill
own
has his
steamer
own steamer.
for my special shirts because it just got way too expensive to dry clean them.
Put the picture back up real quick.
Uh-huh.
Why does Trevor look like a pimp? Look at his out. I didn't notice that till just now.
I didn't notice that.
He
either.
is rocking it.
Yeah, that was with red shoes.
We had a really good time.
That was a good
so
time.
Bill comes to me and says, "You want to go to Aladdin?" I'm like, "Hell no, I'm not going to Aladdin. Really? Come on, this is a motorcycle shop. I'm not going to Aladdin." Baby seal fur.
and I'm like, your girlfriend will like it.
Craziest sales story. Hold on, it's coming. We're getting there. So thanks for trying to keep us on track. So anyway, now, I said
Aladdin. We're talking about Aladdin.
So I'm in the showroom. I said, no, we're not going. He says, come on, Mark. Come on. We got to go. We haven't been out for a while. So we go to Aladdin. I had the time of my life. I'm not going to lie to you. The show was awesome.
Everything was awesome
amazing.
about it.
I could not believe
we had a good
how
time.
good it was.
Yeah, it was good.
And
having your own balcony booth helps.
Well, that definitely helps.
And having your own VIP room beforehand with drinks helps too.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it does make it a little bit better for you don't have to deal with the common folk.
Joe Exotic right here. Joe Exotic. Okay. Nick asked for your craziest sales story.
Was that Nick?
Yeah. So let's get a little ahead of script. Well, we're not even on a script. Who am I kidding? And let's talk about your craziest sales story. You know what? I know which one it is.
Which one?
When you drove the motorcycle into the winner's circle and you crashed it into the wall.
So that was actually leaving to have the bike cleaned up. But that wasn't that crazy. But yes, it was a factory recall on it. And
it was a factory recall. I have to.
0.5% of the bikes only failed. And I just happened to be on the bike that failed. And the clutch spun out and I wiped out in the showroom.
But you're the same guy who wins the prizes on the bikes. So of course you're going to be the 1.5%.
Half of 1% that
it goes both ways.
Yeah, it does. And that was one of the things there.
My favorite part is the bike crashes in the wall. It tips over.
It spun out. The clutch didn't engage. It just completely. Right. There was no clutch. And I left my own burnout. I had my own 5-foot burnout next to Ray Price's burnout. For the longest time, I had one from the front brake that jammed, and I had one from the rear. But the thing falls and the bike falls over, and I'm pinned underneath it.
He's pinned.
I'm pinned, and the customers hear something loud, and all they heard was I'm trying not to panic and stuff. And then I hear, guys, help. Guys, help. And they had to come get the bike off.
And Trevor was like, I think Bill's in trouble. And we all jumped over there, and he picks the bike up, and immediately, as the bike stands up, starts to go over the features, benefits, and advantages of the entertainment system before anybody misses a beat, and the customer doesn't know what to say. He was
okay with it. The bike wasn't hurt, and he took it home.
We had to do the recall.
Yeah, we had to do the recall, but he did paper it.
Yeah,
he did paper it.
So that was pretty epic, I think, because it was kind of crazy.
So one of the more funny stories are when I was selling cars. It was Halloween. I had a purple suit on, a fur coat, a cane, and I was a pimp. Yes. And I was selling a Z71 truck to a very country man. And he was trying to give me every excuse not to buy from me. And I kept overcoming his objections, going back, and he ends up buying the truck. And so after he agrees to it, and he's waiting to go into finance, he looks at me and he goes, boy, they have a pretty liberal dress policy here, don't they, at Hendrix? And I looked at him and I said, excuse me? He goes, they let you wear whatever you want. I looked at him and I go, it's Halloween. I'm a pimp. I don't really. Then his face just dropped. He goes, thank God, you look like such a nice young man. And I couldn't understand why you were dressing like that. But I overcome every one of his objections, and he bought, even though he didn't like me at the time.
In a pimp suit.
purple pimp
Purple
suit
pimp
with
suit.
a fur coat and a crystal cane.
But it was crystal.
Crystal head like a diamond.
So you won up that. You won up that at one of our Christmas parties because we're sitting at our company Christmas party in the hotel, and you were fashionably late, not by much, fashionably late.
That's when Miss Price was still in charge of him.
He did. Trevor says he immediately went over how the radio worked. And that's right. It was a Price Christmas party, and you came in, and you had a snakeskin suit on, a mink coat. I want to say you were carrying a cane. I think you had a cane. Maybe not.
I don't know.
But you definitely had the Miami, straight from Miami. Wait, Bill, where the We've been asking that for years, Weber. Where does he buy his clothes? So anyway, he had the snakeskin suit, Miami, full mink coat, comes in the Christmas party. You could have heard a pin drop. Because they were like, what is going on? And he put the coat on, like a boss, took the coat off, hung it in the thing, walked over, full snake suit. Yeah. Now you've adorned that suit a couple of times.
I've pulled that off a few times. Yeah, it's classic.
It's classic.
Simone loves when I wear it.
Oh man. Well, when you came out of the bathroom the other day to go to a Tiger King a birthday party, you look pretty epic too.
Oh, yeah, for my daughter.
Cheetah pants, Tiger King shirt, gold hat.
Matching. Yeah, that was her favorite shirt. That's why I wore it. That's Lexi's favorite shirt. She's been dying for me to wear it.
Lexi, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you have these jeans, but they are epic because he does not give up about anything.
But Lexi does not have my jeans when it comes to clothes. I'll tell you right now.
That's good. Good for her. Good for her. She has her mom's jeans, so that's good. Mm-hmm. While we're on worst and best, and since we're kind of in that realm of sales department, worst test ride. No, don't mention any names.
Okay. It was a shorter gentleman. And he wanted to buy an Ultra, a full dresser. I took him and I went with him on the test ride. He dropped the bike 3 times, almost hit me once while on the bike, but he still bought it and took it home.
Well, was it damaged?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
a little bit. A little bit. He damaged it a little bit. It was damaged.
So to help humanize you, we need more human stories. I remember one day Trevor was late for work. And when he got there, he called ahead and everything. And he said, hey, I had to go help Bill. He asked me to run by before work and move a couple of sofas. No kidding. Just a bunch of chest hair and jewelry. So Trevor calls and says, I'm late. I'm going to be late. I had to run over to Bill's house real quick and help him move a couch. Do you remember this?
I remember this.
So Trevor's story goes, when he rolled up to your house, not only was there a couch in the driveway, but you had a white wife beater tank top on and we're holding 2 samurai swords because you guys were going to chop it up.
We were going to chop that couch up in my driveway. We were.
But like one more piece of fun before you took it to the dump?
Yeah, that was it. Right in my driveway with the samurai swords. What else to do with the junk couch but samurai it?
So somebody once described you to me as, actually it might have been Trevor. If you're going to go into a fray or a bar fight with somebody, you want it to be Bill. Because he's the guy who shows up with a cinder block tied to a rope. And I think that's a pretty accurate description. At times.
Yeah. And when I was younger.
When you were younger.
So when I was younger, my best friend used to describe me to people that didn't know me. Because they would go out with me and they're like, it's always fun. It's always an adventure. And most of the time it's fun. But they'd warn them, when you meet Bill, you're either going to love him, hate him, or you're scared of him. It's just...
This Bill right here?
Oh my God! What is going on there? looks like
Yeah.
the Hulk. What were you?
That was a while
That doesn't
ago.
even look like you. Well, the face looks like. I don't even know what to say.
That was a while ago.
Like 2 weeks.
That was a few years ago.
That was not Tiger King, Bill. That was not HD.
So that was
Bill.
before I even had a Harley. That was the old Mean Streak that I still have. That was my first
that's
bike.
right.
That was the bike we had the accident on. That I totaled the car I hit. That was the bike that I.
Totaled the car.
He totaled the car that he hit.
A
Yeah.
car that
So Bill is a cat.
Yeah.
That's why
yeah.
the Tiger King is so appropriate. He has 9 lives. How many have you used? 6.
Probably 6.
6.
I'm not sure.
And that
but
particular motorcycle accident was one of them because
Yeah.
you did total a car.
I only broke 2 ribs. I only broke 2 ribs. That's pretty good for totaling the car. I mean, they sued me for back damages in one. My insurance was a bitch for years.
Put the mean streak up.
Oh, this
Put the mean streak up.
one.
Okay,
Yeah, there it is.
So this is the bike that you totaled a car with. And what
Uh-huh.
I love about it is you must have bought it back from the insurance. You fixed this bike.
I didn't have insurance.
Oh,
I only had like liability. Yeah.
so
that was part of the problem.
this bike was repaired. This bike was repaired afterwards, as you can tell by the different colored rear fender on it that he wrote. And so to make it match, you just added purple into other
So
places.
you had to remember this bike used to be pearl white fading into purple flames. This bike used to be, when I first got it, was pearl white with purple flames fading into purple. And then I kept wrecking it so much that black was the easiest color to replace. So I changed it to black.
Put it back up. Put it back up. Because all of Bill's pictures have little clues and nuggets in them. You have to look really close. Every picture we post has a nugget in it. And this particular picture, it's, you know what? Jeep calls them Easter eggs. Easter eggs, right? Jeep calls them Easter eggs because my Jeep, I found out a couple days ago, has an Easter egg in it. They hide something when they produce the Jeep. And I bought a killer 2-door Rubicon.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I was going to have an awesome Easter egg in that Jeep. And I found it. It was freaking flip-flops.
At least you didn't get 11.
I have
flip-flop?
I have a flip-flop Easter egg molded into one of the panels of my Jeep.
Really?
I'm figuring out a way to cover that up. It's got to be a skull or something because I can't. Now I don't like the car anymore.
Look, I have a skull
That's
that lights
the
up.
nugget.
That's
the
the
skull
lights
that
up
lights
with
up
the
on
neon.
the front. That's where this story is going to, because that is epic.
Yeah,
Where do you even buy that?
I made it.
You made it.
I made it.
Of course you did.
I got the
Of
neon
course.
that goes with the bike. I glued it to the bottom of it, and then I made the skull mount to it somehow.
Somehow you don't remember.
It was a little bit of a work.
Okay, while we're on the bikes, you have a fleet of bikes, and you are not only eclectic in your dress, you're also very eclectic in your motorcycles because you love to ride.
I do like to ride.
The bottom line is you love to ride, and we've been making money together a long time.
We have.
And this has probably been the funnest run we've ever had because we love what we're doing, and we're doing what we love.
Yeah.
And so we're going to go through your fleet of bikes. I gathered pictures of all of them, and we're going to go through them one at a time.
Okay.
And we're going to find the nuggets in the pictures because they are amazing. So the Mean Streak was first,
Right.
right? And then now
The Iron Horse.
the Iron Horse was second. All right, so let's put up the chopper. It's
the one with
the one
light.
dripping in lights.
Yes, right there.
That is his
Iron
Tejas,
Horse.
right?
The Iron Horse
American
Tejas.
Yep. And I love the photo too. Now, in true Bill form, we put as many lights on it as could fit.
180.
180 lights he has on the Tejas.
180. I think 100. No, I think it was 120. I got 180
On the
booster.
bagger. Oh, the boost.
On the booster.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, the booster has 180.
Okay, so this is the Tejas. Now, the nugget that I love in this is if you look really close at the picture, I can see your forehead right there. So you must have taken this off your computer screen because I can see your reflection right
I
there
did.
in the middle.
I did take it
And
off
I
the
can see
computer.
your face in the photograph
I couldn't find
like
the picture.
a ghost.
Yeah, that's true.
But the Tejas was cool. I mean, I think we traded that in here.
No, I still have it. Yeah, you
yeah,
did.
we traded in here. You bought it here. You still have it. You've had to. I mean, they stopped. American Iron Horse stopped making bikes, so you've had to figure out how to get
replace
parts.
the tranny.
Yeah.
I got a new tranny going into it.
So, I mean, that bike's been kind of a chore to own because as things wear out, and you do ride. I've seen you ride it. You ride the crap out of it.
Yeah.
It needs stuff, and that stuff they don't produce
It's a
anymore.
work of love.
Yeah, and
it's not a dependable bike.
right, and that bike has some special paint on it too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get into that later. But so after the Tejas, what was the next one?
After the Tejas.
Now you won.
Then I won
this bike.
I won that bike. I won that bike.
Mm-hmm.
And then I won that bike, but I didn't like that bike. I rode it all of 2 miles.
Right. Yeah.
And then when we sold the dealership,
you traded.
I traded you for.
Yes. And you traded us for
the flat track racer,
Evil Knievel bike.
The Prince of Evil, the Evil Knievel bike.
So the Evil Knievel bike is a bike that we painted to commemorate Evil Knievel, or built to commemorate Evil Knievel. Jody Perowitz, shout out to Perowitz Cycle Fab. She did the paint on it, which is really cool.
And you guys did all the work.
And we did all the work. And that bike has a lot of special parts on it that Bruce found
or made
in the archives of our dealership.
And it's for sale. Anybody wants it. It is for sale.
It is a cool bike, though. And it was kind of Jody's spin on an Evil Knievel commemorative.
Flat track racer, yeah.
So scrambler type bike.
Mm-hmm.
And it's beautiful. It was in American Iron Horse, or American Iron.
Right.
Right there's the spread.
Prince of Evil.
The price of Evil. So we built it as Ray Price.
Right.
Before you bought it.
It has a Ray Price.
Points cover on it.
Points cover on it.
So, super cool bike. So you bought that one because you traded the other one.
Right.
You still have that. You still have the Mean Streak.
Right.
And then you bought the Bagger, right?
The orange one.
Oh, the Nugget in this picture. That's right. The Nugget in this picture is what in the beep is going on with the washer and dryer in the background. I don't even know. I don't even want to ask. I mean, this is pre-COVID, so you're not doing laundry outside to be safe.
I was giving them away for free. I had just gotten Simone a new top loads, and instead of throwing them away, they worked, and I just put an ad for free. And if you put an ad for free for a washer and dryer, you'd be surprised they weren't there 2 hours. There wasn't 2 hours that I had a ton of people going, we need all sorts of stories about it. Like, whoever gets there first, it's yours. Just take it.
Brad built most of that bike, actually.
Right.
The flat track before he passed away.
Yeah.
Who's doing the trans in it, Bill? I haven't seen it back in service. Weber.
You guys didn't want to do it.
Okay, so you bought the flat track bike, and
so if you notice one thing about my bikes, they're all flashy.
They're very flashy, as we will show you with the Bagger, because the Bagger was next.
Yes.
So
probably my favorite.
Yeah, and you ride this one the most, actually.
Yes, I do.
And so Picard built this bike. It was a custom build that we traded in, and you've modified it heavily since then. But
no, it came that way.
Well, you did the windshield.
I did the windshield.
You did a few details.
I did the windshield. I added the matching grips, and I matched the mirrors to match all the Arlen Ness stuff.
But the actual bike itself is pretty cool.
That's actually the cheapest bike I've ever had. I've only spent like $300 on it customizing for me.
After you bought it.
Yeah, that is the cheapest bike I've ever had.
It's a beautiful bike, and I think it's a 23 on the front, right?
Mm-hmm.
23. So
air ride, full wrapped.
Yeah, and that bike to me is Bill Norwood.
It is
100%, because it looks like you could go through time. And most of your vehicles, your cars, always look like time machines to me. So it's like you can travel through time. But that bike is badass.
I like that one.
It gets a lot of looks. And then for some reason, you decide to buy this, a Hayabusa.
I'd never had one, and I was always scared of them. And I thought I was finally at a point in my life where I wouldn't kill myself. Because I knew at any other points, I've only been on 2 crotch rockets 5 years apart. I did the same thing on both bikes. road I didn't know, a bike I didn't know, 90 into going into corners. Knew it would kill me. I finally think, coming up on 5 years sober, that maybe I could drive one now.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And what year is it? I can't. It's like
It's a 2002.
02 or 01, something like
02,
that.
yeah.
And this bike had like 400 miles on it.
No, it had 68 miles.
68 miles on it.
When
we traded the bike in, it was brand new.
It was.
I mean, amazing. And that Busa is pretty iconic body style. And I mean, it's a cool bike. Chrome wheels, pipe, the works. It came basically like it's sitting, right?
Yeah, but I had to drop some money into that one to get it running.
Yeah, because it was sitting for so long.
New fuel injector, new rail system, new power commander. Brandon helped me with that. Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you, when you ride that bike, people notice, because I think that the new ones looks. I don't really like how the new ones look, and that to me is
pretty
like,
classic.
It's Hayabusa,
all
the way.
Take that on the Dragon.
Not yet.
He says not yet.
Not yet.
So, and you rode that bike today, actually. So, so that's your fleet of motorcycles, and it's extremely. You need the you need the torch. So, pretty awesome. And I think a lot of customers who interact with you don't realize how much into motorcycling you really are, and you do ride quite a bit.
Well, I just like to have a fleet.
Yeah, always like to have a fleet. That's right. I mean, you're in the VIP Aladdin, so I mean, you got to have a fleet.
But the Prince of Evil is for sale.
Prince of Evil.
The Evil Knievel's for sale.
So your house has been described to me as a cross between an African safari and Harry Potter. And apparently you have done some pretty cool stuff in your life.
Done a few things.
What kind of animals do you have mounted on the wall? Or you have like a full zebra skin, I think, right?
I got a full zebra skin. I should have gotten a picture of it. The kudu. At 20 years old,
I don't even know what a kudu is.
So it's got big spiral horns.
Yes, I do know what that is.
Yeah, I was a half inch from the world record when I shot it in South Africa.
You're the 1.15%. Wait, you shot it in South Africa?
Yeah.
They let you in South Africa?
At that time, yeah. At that time, they did. Yeah.
Well, I just I've never been there. I've seen pictures, and I imagine that it's kind of a fun place to call home.
It's a little different then. I don't know how it is now. It was different then.
It was different then.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. So
this is a funny story. So my dad paid for the safari, and damn, I thought I was the only one.
I dropped mine too.
Yeah.
Okay.
My dad paid for the safari, and this is when Botswana land, which is now I believe Zaire, it's divided by the Limpopo River. My dad shoots this water buck, and it crosses through this river and goes to this other thing. So all I know is that it crosses a river. I did not know that the river was the border between the two countries, and that they were at war. So I got this little tracker guy that goes with me crossing the river. So as I'm crossing the river in like chest high water, the guide looks at me and he goes, Bill, by the way, if you see a military vehicle, you need to shoot them because they will shoot you. And I looked at him and I go, that's funny. That's a good one. And he goes, no, I'm really serious. We're at war. But the odds of them seeing you there are almost impossible, and they don't use scopes, so you can shoot them much further away than you. So then I look at my dad, and my dad had a few drinks in him, and he's like, I want the mount. So I got to go into this thing about a half a mile and kill this thing, and then have to drag this like 400-pound water buck all the way back so that my dad could have his mount. But they were at war. I would have had to shoot him. Like, it was crazy.
Oh my God. I didn't even have that on my list. All right. Let's switch gears.
Okay.
I think people know that you're a very unique guy. But I think what people don't know is HD Bill is a pretty cool character and is a memorable character. And that's why this happens, because people remember who you are. So I want to shift gears a little bit, because you are our top salesperson, and there's a reason for that. And it's not just because you wear crazy pants, although it does help.
It helps.
But the truth of the matter is, in your sales efforts, you really do care about the customer.
Completely.
And I've heard you tell people, hey, listen, I got my phone on till 10 o'clock at night. You can call me for anything. I've heard him take some crazy phone calls. I've heard him leave to help people. I've heard him walk people through the phone.
It happens quite often when the infotainment system first came out.
Yeah, because
people were confused.
Well, they were excited about their purchase and they didn't remember.
Right.
And so, 2 days later, you'd invite them back to go over it again.
Right.
You always took time to take care of your customers, and I think that's why you sell so many bikes. Because yes, all the other stuff is fun, but Bill Norwood, the man, is it takes this job very serious.
Very serious.
And what I wanted to spend a few minutes on is talking about some of the things that you do, because people can pick the wrong bike.
Yeah, you have to make sure you get them on the right bike that they're going to be happy and that fits them. And like I tell them, if you don't when you park your bike, if you don't turn around and look at it when you walk away, you bought the wrong bike, because it's a toy. It brings us pleasure. Get the right one from the beginning.
Yeah.
And you always get it, and don't get one that you think you can turn into if you can't get it already done up. It makes it much easier.
And I think I saw Scott on here watching, our sales manager at the shop. There he is. Oh, there is no switching gears with Bill Norwood. So the reason why I bring Scott up is because you fight for your customer with him all the time. I sit there and watch.
Oh, he hates it.
You guys grapple to the mat about deals because you want that customer to buy the absolute dream bike that they're there to buy.
And for me.
And sometimes they have to figure out how to afford it. And you really do try to help them with that. And I think that's really important, because, there's a lot of stuff that happens in deal making, and, customers out there, they don't know that we buy the bikes from the same place, right? We buy them from Harley. They don't know that a lot of times that there's values out there for trades. Most of them should be worth the same amount of money.
We use the same finance company.
We have all the specials available that everybody has available. And if people aren't just doing a straight up deal, which is what you do, then a lot of times it's a bait and switch thing somewhere else. Yep. And they just don't realize it. And what I love about your customer base, and I think why your customers like you so much, is because you maybe tell them the honest truth, but you justify how it does or doesn't make sense to them. And you have options for them, right?
That's right.
Because how many demos? I mean, you don't mind if a customer takes multiple demos.
I just had one person who had 11 demos. I lined all 4 bikes up. He demoed all day, re-demoed. He went on 11 demos before he finally picked the bike that I told him he wanted at the beginning. But he had to decide on his own.
And that's okay.
Yep.
Oh, thank you, Jim. Bill and Scott both rock.
I do.
So I think that's really important to know, because, customers sometimes wonder and afraid to ask, like, why is my trade-in worth so much different at dealership to dealership? Why can I get one interest rate at one store, and a different interest rate seemingly at another store? And the truth of the matter is, they can get everything the same.
Yeah.
And whatever that they're getting somewhere else,
it's how it's structured.
It's how it's presented.
Right.
And, we want the customer to feel good about their bike purchase. And you call every customer afterwards to make sure they're doing okay.
Always. And when they go home.
What's your follow-up process? Because you call them when they go home, 2 weeks later. What's the time frame?
I call them the first month. I'll call them at a week. I'll call them at a couple days. I'll call them at 28 days. It just depends. Most of the time, a lot of times they have parts come in. I check on their parts and stuff. They probably hear from me on average 4 times in the first month.
And then I know you try to call them on their birthday.
Always call them on their birthday.
Yeah.
Always call them on their birthday. Or if I'm not working that day, it'll be the day after.
Yeah.
But always call them on their birthday.
So I think that's a big deal, because when you're buying motorcycles, you're buying the lifestyle, and you're buying these things we're laughing and joking about, these good times, because customers want to experience that. We're lucky enough to do it for a living, but a lot of customers are doing it for pleasure, and that's you mentioned that earlier. So I think it's important that people know that about you, because we're having a great time and we have done some crazy things, and we got a few more stories to tell. but hold on. Oh yeah. So at the end of the day, though, you take the job very serious.
I do.
And HD Bill, the character, is no different than Havana Bill, the character who sells cigars. Corvette Bill, who was a top Corvette salesperson who sells Corvettes. Like, that's just how you brand yourself, and I love it.
And I found my niche. Like, yeah. I know this is what I'm going to stop doing until I'm retired. Like, there is no looking for another job. The grass isn't greener. This is where I'm going to stay as long as they keep me.
As long as we keep you. How can we not keep Bill Norwood?
If I start drinking again.
No. Well, and I tell you, let's talk about that a minute, because you said to me, Mark, nothing's off limits in the podcast. Yeah. I want people to know who I am. I want people to know where I come from.
I think most of my customers already know about it, because I'm pretty open about it.
You spend time with them, but you've been sober now 5 years.
Almost 5 years this time.
I'm proud of you for that. You and I have been through a couple of these bumps in the road, I'll call them.
They're pretty rocky.
Yeah. One of my very first memories of you is the Avalanche story. I'm going to tell it. Okay. So back when the Chevy Avalanche first came out, Bill immediately bought one. Now, back then, 20-inch wheels were hard to get and very expensive. And
nobody had them.
Nobody had them, and except Bill, Corvette Bill. And I'm watching the news one day, and I see a police chase on the news, and it's an Avalanche on 40, and I'm like, I think that's Bill's car. I think that has rims on it.
That has
Giovanni rims on it. They were like $10,000 back then.
They were $5,000 a piece. I was the only one that had Giovanni rims at that time.
It was definitely Bill on 40 being chased by the police. And next thing I know, he's off the embankment and they can't find the driver. Because you ran into the woods.
Yep.
So fast forward to when you finally came back to work, because you were missing for a couple days.
Well, I think what's funny that you told the boss that day when you saw it, you're like, because it flashed on TV and you were there, like, yeah, I don't think Bill's going to be at work on Monday.
I did. I said, I don't think Bill's going to be here today. I saw his car on the news.
I don't think Bill's going to be at work.
By police. It was like O.J. Simpson.
It wasn't cut like that, but yeah, it's a while ago.
So anyway, when he gets back to work, I said, Bill, why did you run into the woods? This has been now 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Why did you run into the woods? He goes, because if they catch me for evading the police, it's easier to deal with than a DWI.
Again.
He ran away because he was...
Again.
No, we're not condoning drinking and driving. No. That is not the humor in this story. And it was a different time. But that's the first time I realized you had a problem. And, we have been through a lot since then. And you've recovered a couple times. You've died a couple times.
Died a few times.
And we actually had a customer come into Tobacco Road one day.
Oh, okay, go.
And he walks in and he says to me,
this was a very dark time in my life.
It was.
And my wife had just kicked me out, and it was a really bad time. And I don't remember a lot of it.
Well, the customer walks in. Thank you for being so honest, by the way. The customer walks in and says, is that Bill Norwood? And I said, well, yeah, he's one of our salespeople. And the customer says, he died in my doorway. And I'm like, what? Oh, yeah, he died. He almost bled out in my doorway. You had drank so much that your blood was so thin that you cut yourself.
Yeah, I cut myself on my vein, and it was spewing blood, and I knew I was going to die. And I literally crawled up his stairs and knocked on his door in my underwear, covered in blood. It was
scary.
It was.
And they had to call EMS or whatever, and they basically had to save your life.
But I didn't knew who it was because I was in such a fog for so long. Like, I thought it was somebody looking for me, so I didn't want to go talk to him. I was like, how does he know me? And they're like, he saved your life. I was like, huh? And then
it all
came back who he was.
And he wanted to meet you, basically.
Yeah. But he saved my life. I would have bled out. And if I hadn't crawled out into the thing, I would have bled out. I think I had a 0.48 alcohol level that day.
Oh my God. Okay, so let's fast forward past this stuff because you had some demons you battled with.
Yeah.
That Texas Iron Horse has a sobriety medallion painted on it.
I do.
Yeah.
I have the AA. So
Yep. And you wear your sobriety pendant.
I do.
That's someone asked about the gold necklace.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Yeah, it's
and
right
and
there.
you know, to the people who know, like, I'm very proud to see him wear that because I've been through a lot with him and we've done a lot of fun things together, but we've had some issues, some incidents, some hiccups too.
Well, I wear it so that if anybody has any questions or want to talk to somebody, I'm not ashamed of it, and that, you know, I'm always there to talk for a drug and alcoholic because I've been there. So I picked up a 1-year chip 9 times. I know what relapse is. I know how tough it is, and I mean, you're not alone. I mean, you're not alone, and there's always hope. There is always hope.
So
Yeah.
this is the real Bill Norwood, people.
Yeah.
This is out of character at the moment.
Yeah, this is
And not very many
always
people
hope,
know
you
him.
know,
And that was the
if I
point.
can help anybody with my struggles, I'm there for you. I'll take you to treatment. I'll get you into a detox if you need to talk. You know, I can listen. I've been through it all. I've been through the divorce. I've died. You can't cross anything that I can't probably relate to.
So you leave sometimes work early to go talk at meetings, right?
I leave sometimes work, or I help the guys when it was open at Healing Transitions. I sponsored a bunch of them. So sometimes I have them come visit me, and we go and I read with them upstairs when they were open, could get out. It's closed right now because of the COVID and stuff. But yeah.
But you still have people reaching out to you, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So pretty awesome, Bill. And I'm pretty proud of you for.
I've been given so much, I have to give it back. It was freely given to me, and I just freely give it. You know, I can't keep it unless I give it away, and that's the whole truth about it. You know, I'm never going to graduate this. I just had to keep doing it one day. All I have to do is stay sober today. That's it. No, not a lifetime, not this. Just today. I make it through today. I try again tomorrow.
So it's interesting because when we go to different events together, because sometimes we go or we have a Christmas party, whatever. I sort of keep my eye on him because I know Bill pretty well. A lot of people might not know that we have a connection like that based on the dealership and who we are and all that stuff. And sometimes he has to leave. Sometimes you leave those parties and stuff just because it can get a little out there. And
I stay about an hour and a half.
Yeah,
I have about an hour and a half limit, and then
yeah,
you know, it's time to go.
And I always try to be super supportive of that because I love what you do for us. I love what you do for the dealership and for the customers. And I don't
appreciate all the chances I've had.
Yeah, you've had a few chances.
Had a few chances. You guys have been good to me.
So, you know, that's something that a lot of people don't know about you out there in the general public. And I'm hoping that, you know, this podcast sheds some light on the real Bill. However, I do like the character HD Bill too. And let's get back to pants, because I remember I got a nice bounty of cigars traded to me one time because I decided we were having an 80s party somewhere. I don't remember where that party was.
Where was it?
I don't remember, but I had to go to an 80s party, and I ordered these sweatpants that had a band at the bottom. They were like skinny jean sweatpants. I know. I can't believe I wore those. I couldn't even fit in them now. And they were tie-dyed or had skyscape or something on them. And there was a wolf, face of a wolf right in the crotch.
Yep.
And I wore those things to the 80s party. And when Bill saw me, he said, I gotta have those, Mark. And for once in my life, Bill said, "Where'd you get those clothes?" I'm always asking him where to get those clothes.
Right.
So he traded me cigars for him. It's because I was only going to wear them for that one party. I was never going to wear them again. And he traded me cigars, and he wears. If you're lucky enough to come to the shop one day when he has those things on, it is an epic day.
I have worn them to work a couple times.
Worn them to work. And it's a wolf. It's the face of a wolf.
It is.
Wear him this Saturday.
If it's not 85
Jessica
degrees.
Jessica says I was horrified. Yeah, that was crazy. But you had to have them. Mm-hmm. And I got a few more cigars.
You did.
You know, I got in trouble when I was married because of these cigars. Because one day my ex-wife did the math on how much was in the humidor. She wasn't happy about that.
Yeah, Jennifer.
Oh man,
We
that was
never
crazy.
Yeah.
So the other thing you're very good at is you find the deal. You always find the deal, and having you around is like having your own Amazon, because Bill can find anything. And one day, Trevor decided to test him, and he said, "Watch this, Bill. We want to find an adult big wheel. Do you remember this?"
Yes, I do remember those. Yep. I found those in about 5 minutes.
You found an adult big wheel and almost bought one.
We were going to get matching ones for the dealership and drive them around.
Adult big. I wouldn't even know where to search for that.
It's not that hard. There's like 3 different manufacturers. Yes, there's 3 different manufacturers.
Oh man.
But then you have to store them.
Okay. I want to know about the speedboat flipping. It was one of your deaths.
This was shortly. Yeah. I bought a speedboat. I was drunk. We took it out. I thought I was going to be real cool and splash my friends that were on the dock. And I miscalculated and hit the dock. It knocked me out. The speedboat went into circles and started doing circles, and then it would hit the dock and it would bounce off, and then I hit the dock perpendicular and the boat flipped over, and I was underwater for like they figured between 5 and 7 minutes before they found me, and they had to bring me back 3 different times. I was in a coma I was in the hospital for 23 days. I was on a respirator for 14 of those days. They thought I was brain dead, and they had to pull the plug, and they told my sister that I was going to die, and that I was going to be a vegetable. And like at day 18, I woke up, and I couldn't understand why the nurses were amazed that I was talking in sentences to them. And in like a minute, there was like 30 people in the room. They're like, just keep talking. They couldn't believe I was talking. So once again, I'd woken up naked in restraints in a hospital. And I can promise you this: if you ever wake up naked in restraints in the hospital, it was not a good night. It was not a good night. I did not realize that I was paralyzed at the time, and I thought I was going to run, because that's what I do when I don't want to deal with reality. And when I flipped my feet over to try to see where I was, my head smashed through the wall next to me because I couldn't walk. So they put me back in restraints for 2 days. But yeah, that was bad. That was bad. That was bad. That was bad. But so that's my second out of body experience. In the hospital, no, that wasn't an out of body experience. But they had to paddle me 3 times. They had to paddle me 3 times, and they thought I was dead. And I was found by a one-armed man who dove the other way because there was divers. And I started going back to church, and I was telling the story to the people, but I never told them there was a one-armed man that found me because they thought it was crazy. And the preacher stopped me and goes, "A one-armed man found you. God told him where to dive." And I go, "I didn't tell you that." He goes, "He's come to this church." And I got to meet the guy that saved my life, because it turned both of us to go back to God. Yeah. So the preacher stopped me on it and goes, "You're found by a one-armed man." And I was like, I didn't tell you that. And he's like, he comes to this church. Do you want to meet him? And so at that time, it turned me back to God, and it turned the guy back to God. But he dove completely differently to where everybody was, and he's the one that found me underwater.
The divers didn't find you.
Mm-mm. No, they were diving somewhere else. The rip current had taken me the other way.
Wow, that's heavy stuff, Bill.
Yeah, like I said, I'm here for a reason. God wants me around. I don't know what it is, but
Well, to sell motorcycles.
yes, for you.
Of course.
That's
Yeah.
it.
That's right.
That's it. It's to sell motorcycles for you. That is my purpose with God. Mark, you.
Well, there was another. What happened when you woke up and told the surgeon what the back of his head looked like?
So that was when I OD'd, and they were in an ambulance, and it was a very peaceful feeling. I saw the white light at the end. I was floating, watching them work on me, and something said, "It's not your time." They paddled me, and I went back in my body. When I woke up, I looked at the guy while I was in the ambulance, and I looked up and I go, "You have a bald spot on the back of your head." And I recited almost everything they said, word for word. And the guy went white as a ghost because he's like, "How do you know that?" I said, "I watched you guys work on me."
Holy smokes!
Yeah.
I mean, that's like 6. I think we're 5 or 6 lives right there.
There's a few of them. Yeah.
Let's tell a less heavy story.
Okay.
I remember when you told us the time you lost all your cars in one night.
Oh, that was pretty awesome. So in my that was not.
How many cars was it?
It was 2. I always had in Florida. I had a hardtop and I had a convertible, and I would go out on these prolonged binges, and people would be like, a lot of people knew me in Miami, and they're like, "Bill, you need to go home." So they would actually take me home, and they would put me to bed. And they would put me to bed, and they'd take my keys, and they'd be like, "I'm going to keep your car." I'm like, "Okay." And then I'd be in my bed alone and be like, "Oh, I got another car." So I would just hop in the other car, and I would go out again. And off a good binge, I would lose both my cars when I came true like 5 days later, and I would have to backtrack and figure out where my cars were. That happened on more than one occasion. That's happened on more than one occasion.
Now, I did not know you during this time. This was even earlier than that.
Oh, this was when I was a player in Miami. Yeah, no, you did not know.
No, I did not know you did.
Uh-huh.
By the time we got to know each other, you were already settled down a little bit.
Yeah.
At that point, it got hard. You were fighting hard.
Yeah, it was different.
So, will you put the desk picture up?
What?
So, Joe, who's not our new guy anymore, but was our new guy until Ray started recently.
Right.
Joe said, "Maybe God will tell you to clean your desk."
Every time I clean my desk, Mark, I stop selling.
Well, and you know what? I was going to make a comment that really, really intelligent and really, really hardworking people sometimes are messy. And you spend your time working on deals, not cleaning your desk. So
there it is.
So hold on, she's got to put it on the screen so everyone can see it out there in cyberspace. But yes, I have been fighting with Bill about his desk for 20 years.
Yes, you have, and my paperwork.
And it doesn't matter where we work. It doesn't matter what we're doing. He has always had a really, really messy desk.
I have.
And he's right. When he cleans it up, you go into a rut.
I do. I don't know why it is.
There it is right there. There is the epic Bill Norwood desk. He knows exactly where everything is. Now, I don't even know where to start with the nuggets in this one. Because there's so many. The trophies, the trash can. But the Geico sign's right there to our sponsor.
Right there.
He's got it right
they
there.
They are very good to me.
But yes, we've been struggling with your desk for a long time.
I know.
But I want the sales.
I try. I try.
It drives Scott crazy.
I know. Sorry.
Do you know where everything is?
Basically,
he knows where everything is.
I can find just about anything. And then when I clean it up, I don't know. And then I throw stuff away, and then that's the deal that something I shouldn't have thrown away.
And based on your handwriting, you should have been a doctor. Because you can't write for sure.
No, I can't.
No.
That's why
we have to decipher it.
Mm-hmm.
We have translators at the sales tower to translate your writing.
Well, you remember.
No, he needs to clean it at least once a week.
Well, you remember we used to handwrite at Hendrix.
We did.
I had to before Remember how bad my handwriting was? We used to do handwritten contracts, and it was horrible because they couldn't read anything. Nothing.
I'm wondering if that's how you close deals because the customers couldn't read it either.
Whatever works. Whatever works.
Oh man. Talk to me about, speaking of Hendrix, which, by the way, all the staff that's watching, he said when I used to work at Hendrix, not me. He said it because that's something I get razzed about all the time.
Do they?
Worst test drive while we were in the car business.
My scariest test drive was a girl, like 6 foot tall, came in to drive a Corvette. Very pretty. Little did I know she was a stock car racer. Like she was like a semi-professional racer. So we're like, okay, yeah, we can go for it. We hit like 110 on the test drive. I was freaking out. Like speed shifting, power shifting this thing, like 110, like it was nothing. I was like, it flipped me out. And for it to flip me out and scare me, it's got to be bad. If it scares me, it's bad.
Did she buy the vet?
I think she did.
Well, one of the things that I remember the most about, there are a few times when you challenged me. And one of the times that I remember distinctly is when you decided that it was just not cool for us not to be able to wear shorts. So you said, you remember? So you said, okay, so what you're saying is, because you were selling me, these are sales tactics that we've learned over the years together. You said, okay, so what you're saying, Mark, is I can't wear shorts, right? And what you're saying is we should wear pants. Yes. What about in between? And I'm like, what is he talking? Bill, whatever. Do what? You just can't wear shorts. And the next day you showed up in capris.
That's right.
Capris. They had cuffs on the bottom.
Little fucking flowers or something.
Again, I don't know.
But they were pants.
They were capris. I looked at you. I said, "Don't ever wear those things to the store again. Don't ever wear those things to the store again."
But the rule book said you could wear those.
It did say you could wear capris.
It did say you could wear capris. But
that was meant for women.
You did not specify.
I think they did have flowers on them.
They had something on the cuff, flipped up. It was. It was very metro.
It was
Very metro.
You wore capris today. Did you wear capris today?
Yeah, I just wore cargos today.
Yeah. Your favorite pants. That is the epic question of the night. What are your favorite pants?
My favorite pants were the ones that I wore so much that they disintegrated on me. The snakeskin ones that were so perfect, and there was a light material, and they looked like Miss Jean hated them because they had the cuffs. They were jogger pants on the bottom, but they had a belt loop on it. And Miss Jean would say I couldn't wear them. I'm like, they're pants, look, and I'd show her the belt loop, and she would get so mad because they weren't jogger pants. They had a belt and they had a zipper, so she couldn't. I wore those pants so much that they literally disintegrated. I put them on one day and they just disintegrated on me. They were so thin, but they were so comfortable. I still have them, but I can't wear them anymore. They were snakeskin.
So my favorite pants are the shark ones, where they have the shark face on the back, and when you walk, it makes like the shark looks like it's eating.
She barred those too.
Those are my favorite pants.
She barred those.
You would walk away from the sales.
It looks like they were biting.
Do it like this.
And then they had the P for player on the front, on the crotch.
The P for player. Oh my God, Bill.
Those are winter pants because they're pretty heavy denim, so they only come out in the wintertime.
Okay. Trevor asked me to ask you a couple of questions.
Okay.
And these answers are going to be important. In an epic battle, who wins, werewolf or vampire?
Werewolf. werewolf, I think. Werewolf.
Why?
I hate you, Trevor. I hate that. Werewolf. I just think they're cooler. They're cooler and stronger. That's all I got.
I think this gives us an insight in how you think. And we do this to you sometimes. The Cobra genes are the best. You do have Cobra genes.
I do have Cobra genes. But they once again also have been worn so thin that they're I can't wear them anymore because I wore them so much that they've shredded.
When did the pants thing start?
I've always liked to be different and have stuff that nobody else had.
And where do you buy them?
eBay.
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 Yes.
eBay. Because I don't like paying retail.
You don't pay retail for anything.
I don't pay retail for anything.
Matter of fact, I know for a fact that you will shop for things you want and you will buy them in bulk to keep from paying retail.
And then sell half
and
of them.
Sell most of it so that you didn't pay. You
So
basically get your stuff for free.
Most of not a lot of the times, or it cost me hardly anything.
And you have regular customers who you call and contact when you buy things. And unfortunately, I'm one of those people because when you get a good lighter or whatever, I get the call or the text says, "Hey, I just bought 10 of these lighters. You could buy one for $10."
Yeah.
I have a lot of switchblades because of you.
Yes, and switchblade lighters.
Switchblade lighters.
Switchblade lighters. I still have a half a dozen of those. Those were the best. A switchblade lighter, butane lighter. Yeah.
Oh man, and I fall right into it. Nick says, "Bill, remember when you weren't allowed in service?"
Which time? Which time? Which time?
Trevor says, "We love you. You chose werewolf because you are one." I believe that because you used to be a night owl.
I used to be.
You ever miss Miami? The Miami days?
No, it's a different person.
Different person.
It's just a whole different. It seems like a dream. Like I hardly believe. Yeah, I look back on that and I don't even know how I lived through that. So it's just a different person, different time, and different. Yeah, I was just very confused, very angry.
Well, I'm glad you're in a good place now.
Yeah,
and I appreciate what you do for the company and what you do for us. And I was trying to put this podcast together, and I thought while I was doing my notes and everything, you know, when we first started out selling stuff together, because we've been selling for 20 years now, if you can believe that, we had to do some sales meetings, and back then we were still learning. And now we have sales meetings, and I know when I talk, you've heard it 100 times.
I'm the one that taught you Grant Cardone.
You did. You brought me those DVDs.
I had Grant Cardone before Grant Cardone was popular.
Because you pirated them. You stole the CDs.
I did, and I burned them.
You brought me the CDs with a Sharpie on it, which I couldn't read, but somehow it said Grant Cardone. And I would listen to those sales tapes, those CDs in my car.
Yep.
To and from work.
Yep.
And that's really how we got our feet wet selling stuff. And then I parlayed that into doing sales training for a large part of my career. And you have sat through a lot of it. And I have to tell you, I appreciate, because I know sometimes you're like, again? Mark, I gave you that CD. And you don't respond that way in the meeting. And I appreciate that you support what I'm trying to do with the newer people. And
because you no matter what you do, you always have to be trainable.
You do.
You always have to be learning. You always have to be looking. You can't stagnate. Even though if I've heard, yeah. So now I like the new guy that you got us listening to.
Tom O'Connor.
Tom O'Connor.
Yeah.
He's good. I like listening to him when I'm not busy.
Well, so I was getting this together, thinking about the sales training, and I thought, how many salespeople have we been through in our career?
I have no idea.
I mean, the list is long. Because it's a high turnover job. It's a high pressure job.
Yeah, it's not for everybody.
It's a little easier in the motorcycle industry because we're doing what we love. In the car business, we went through a lot of people that we thought would make it and they didn't. And I mean, I don't even know. Hundreds.
It's got to be hundreds.
Hundreds of people.
Got to be hundreds.
You know, and I mean, we had our rules, right? We didn't want to learn their names when we were earlier on in the sales process. We wouldn't learn their names till they were there 90 days. because it wasn't going to matter.
It didn't matter. It didn't. Yeah.
And then you did something that a lot of people envied that you still do, and that is when one of them left, you wanted their customers.
I do.
And you were ready. You were ready. And I could see you just planning when they were going to exit, how you were going to take that book of business over and give those people a good experience because they had lost that account.
They need follow-up.
They need follow-up.
People need to be followed up on.
Well, you've done a good job. And I mean, I don't know how many VIN numbered things you've sold in your life, but also, probably over 1,000 things in the 20 years.
Oh, well over that. Well over that.
And you're still doing it, and you still love it.
Yeah, it's what I do. I mean, it's what I do.
Now, you had a small stint in between. So we lost touch for a little while because I moved, Hendrix moved me, and then my life kind of took some odd turns. And then you got out of the car business for a while. And I think you went to work for Lowe's Home Improvement. Yeah. You were selling washers and dryers and stuff.
I was a waiter at Applebee's for a while.
Yeah. So you tried a few things for a little while. Mm-hmm. And I remember the day we reconnected because you walked into Ray Price. I was assistant sales manager at the time.
Yep.
And you had a fedora on and crazy pants and a crazy shirt. And I said, Bill Norwood. And you're like, Mark, what are you doing here? I work here. And you said to me, I want a job because I was the number one appliance salesperson in the country and they cut my commission.
Yep.
And you quit. And that's when you reconnected with me. And we've been selling bikes ever since.
We have. Like 7.5 years ago.
Wow. Crazy. Did we skip any pictures? I think we hit everything except one thing that I always forget to ask, and I think people should know. So
Hawaii.
So that's you and Simone ride in Hawaii.
Yep.
Where's your favorite place to ride?
Kona.
In Hawaii.
Yeah. Kona was definitely the nicest riding there was. The weather was good. Everything. The scenery was just beautiful.
You try to go there at least once a year, right?
I've been there. I'm not going this December probably, but I've been the last 5 Decembers. I've been to the islands.
And every time you rent a Harley.
Yep.
Where's a good picture of him in Hawaii? Right there. That's my favorite picture. Just cruising down. Where do you rent the Harley at? There's a Harley store there, or Eagle Rider?
Yeah, there's one of them's Eagle Rider, and the other one's just a store that rents. And then I've talked them into now to give me friends and family. So it's like $80 a day for a street glide.
I really wanted to find the picture when you were riding with no shirt on and your flip-flops and your bathing suit, but I couldn't find
that one. Yeah, I couldn't find that one either.
And I guess there's no helmet law there?
Nope. But Simone wore one.
Well, of course.
Always, yeah.
I mean, somebody has to keep you straight these days. So when did you get Charo?
Got Charo 7.5 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, she's 7.5 now.
She's like part of the dealership almost.
She is. Where is she?
Yeah. She, aside from your bikes. Aside from your bikes, let's bring Charo on here. She's going to not like the cigar smoke.
Yeah, she's not going to like the cigar smoke.
I just think it's great that Bill Norwood, the larger-than-life personality, has a tiny dog. That's what I think. Aside from your personal bikes, one of the questions that popped up, what is your favorite bike, aside from what you already have?
I like my road glide.
You like but aside from that, what's a
dream bike?
Bill doesn't have dream bikes. He doesn't have
bucket lists. If I want something, I'd buy it. The V-Rod was fun.
The V-Rod is cool.
Yeah.
I had a V-Rod too.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
The V-Rod is fun, but I like the Boost better than the V-Rod.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good. Pretty happy with what I got.
I was going to ask Bill what his bucket list ride was, and he said, "I don't have a bucket list. If I want to do it, I go do it. I don't wait."
I don't.
Yeah.
Life's too short. I've died too many times. I may not be here tomorrow.
Well, that is a fact, and right now we're in a really strange time.
It is a strange time.
So let's talk about it for a few minutes. When the COVID stuff hit, I mean, it was a really uncertain time for us.
It still is a little bit.
You and I, so you helped me grind through that time. You helped the store and the staff you were there doing what had to be done, no matter what, to try to keep profitable during
Mm-hmm.
what was just crazy. But we never really talked about your thoughts on everything. And so I'm curious, like, what do you think about everything that's going on?
I think it's a little overblown myself. But my mom, it's a serious disease. My mom got COVID in the hospital, so she was 2 weeks in isolation. She's still recovering from it. Um, at home now, it is serious to certain demographics, and you do have to take it very seriously, especially with the older population. It's horrible for them. Um, it's just a weird time.
I know you're really close to your mom, and
Yeah.
she's awesome. I love the pictures you post when you go down there to visit her, and you guys are going eating crab and all
Lobster.
that stuff. Lobster.
Lobster.
That's right. She likes lobster.
Yeah, the
Um,
lobster special on Tuesday night.
I remember when you got the call that she had COVID. It was scary.
Yeah, it was.
And
What's more scary is nobody could visit her. Nobody, like, she's in isolation, and she still is. She still can't have visitors. Where she's staying is on lockdown. Only her nurse can see her.
It probably scared her a little bit. How old is she?
She's 85
80,
now.
85. Man, time's flying by. But what is really, really real is the fear that people have, and it's keeping them away and it's keeping them from doing things.
I mean, a lot of people, they're not sure if they're going to have a job. It's legitimate. It's not like I have to talk to the wife now. It's like, I don't know if I'm going to be working. It's so we go through the years a lot of BS excuses that you always hear, but now,
they're real.
My wife hasn't worked in 8 weeks. I can't get it. I want it, but I can't get it. We just went through that with the Ducatis.
We did.
I mean, with the Triumphs. That, 1 8 weeks and 1 6 weeks.
I feel like because of what you do, you see a frontline version of what's going on there as a salesperson, because, in our business, we try to make it fun and everything. And there are real barriers right now to where people just can't.
Unlike before,
before.
Real barriers, like
right.
real legitimate things.
So
we'll grind through it.
We will. And I feel like your empathy towards that is going to help those customers stay our customers when things turn, because you do, people don't know your mom got COVID.
Yeah.
Like it hit home for you.
It was hit straight home to me. Like straight home to me. Yeah.
And I remember I was like, Bill, man, you got to go down and see her. And he's like, Mark, I can't see her. So I'm just going to sell. I'm going to work. I'm going to sell, because that keeps my mind busy.
It does. It did.
I'm worried.
Yeah.
So
she's doing better, but
she's not out of the woods yet.
She's getting better, and she's much better. And I'm very fortunate that she's being taken care of. But yeah, it's scary. Yeah.
Well, we've been rolling an hour and a half.
Man, you didn't think, and you thought it'd be tough.
I didn't get to all my lists. I don't really know. I mean, we've covered so much. I think that, you've been through a lot in your life. And I think it's awesome right now that you're in a really good place.
God's put me in the best place
I've
ever been. You're
here with us.
Yeah, and I have the best girlfriend I've ever had. We have a great relationship. My life, if it got no better than it was today, I'd be completely happy if it stayed exactly the same the rest of my life where I'm at right now. But that's up to God. I mean, but my life today, right here, is awesome.
And I'll second the girlfriend thing, because I lived through some of the other ones.
I've had some crazy ones, and you've lived through them.
One of them was named after a gun. Oh God. Anyway, we won't revisit that. Everything is good right now.
We had the KKK.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, what else do you want to tell the folks out there in cyber world that are watching that maybe?
I appreciate everybody's support there. I appreciate everybody's support with the dealership and everything that you guys have, the life that you guys allowed me to live. And I'm grateful for all the chances you guys have given me here. And going back to the alcoholic thing, everybody knows my number, 803-840-2882. If anybody has any issues or wants to talk to somebody and thinks they may have a problem, you can call me anytime, and I'll pick up the phone. I normally don't pick up the phone after 10 o'clock at night, just because I don't, but I will get back to you. But I can get anybody to help you get help if you need it. You know,
That's awesome.
all sales aside, but you know, that's really the only thing I can do to give back, because for all the chances God's given me.
You know, I don't have a lot of friends that are 20 years old because of life and moving and all that stuff. And you're one of those people, and I'm grateful for that too, Bill, because
most of mine have been killed or in jail.
Oh man, one day maybe we'll go on an African safari together. That'd be kind of fun. You could teach me a few things. I've never hunted anything in my life.
After my dad passed, I never shot again, never hunted again.
Well, then we won't. Then I just want to see the skins.
Yeah, you need to come over and see the skins.
Well, another podcast in the record books, and this
Look
one
at
was
that.
fun.
This was good.
Yep, I had a good time tonight with you, Bill, and
So did I.
Hopefully our customers learned some cool stuff about you and about the shop and kind of what you're all about, and hopefully they'll appreciate you and what you do here at the store. I want to thank Geico Local Office for sponsoring the podcast. Again, thank you very much. If you need some insurance, make sure you come get it. You can get it right at the dealership from
HD Bill. That's right. And a motorcycle.
Yes. And next Monday is a Memorial Day. So we are going to have a special podcast next Monday. For those of you guys and girls that have been to the dealership and that have seen things change over the last little bit, the last building on our campus, just one day had a banner pop up on it, and it's the U.S. Veterans Corps. And a lot of people have asked me what's going on down there. Who are they? What do they do? And they have been good partners of us for a long, long time. We raise a lot of money for charity for them. Andy and Jennifer are awesome people. They build houses for veterans that they give away. They do food drives, toy drives. I mean, it is amazing. If someone comes from overseas and doesn't have a place to go, there are bunks down there in that building, and they let the soldiers stay there for free during that transition time. I wanted to have them on Memorial Day. I felt like that was appropriate. They agreed to come. I'm super excited about that. And they're both going to be here on the podcast with us. And we're going to talk a little bit about what they do, how they fit into the dealership, what they do for our customers and with our customers. And I'm really looking forward to that, because it's going to be an appropriate one for Memorial Day. And thank you very much for agreeing to come on. They have no idea what to expect. Although Andy and Jennifer, they do a lot of
they'll be good.
They do a lot of public stuff.
Yeah, they'll be good. It'll be
so
good.
we're gonna have a lot to talk about, and it's gonna be fun.
Great program.
So thank you for tuning in, everybody. Please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hopefully everybody had fun tonight, and I know we did. And thank you for selling me some more cigars.
You're welcome.
They were very delicious. All right.
Have a great evening. Good night.